I've been playing a lot of Hytale recently. I've been playing a lot of modded Minecraft recently, and it's gotten me thinking about inventory management. Considering Hytale is clearly just a modded Minecraft clone, I think it's probably going to have an inventory management issue too. But seriously, Hytale is pretty much just using Minecraft's inventory system plus backpacks, and I feel like there's an issue here. You see these are slots. I don't like this because they have a very big issue. You see, you can store a certain amount of items in each slot, which usually depends on the type of item, but you can only put one type of item in each slot. But after a few updates and a few mods, inventory holds less since you're holding more types of items. Slots are not a modding or update friendly system. In modded Minecraft, this is usually solved by adding a backpack mod, which lets the player hold more slots. This solution is already in Hytale, but it's kind of like halving the universe's population to solve a lack of resources. It prevents the issue for a while, but it's just going to come back later. Slots don't even make sense. Why can you carry 2,304 cubic meters of dirt normally, but only 36 cubic meters of varying materials? Minecraft added bundles to help with this, but then you can't see the items in your inventory anymore, and it makes getting the items you want more annoying. It's better than nothing, but why even have slots in the first place? What if instead of having a bunch of slots for items, you have a total amount you can hold, and it just summons slots when needed to let you see everything you have on you? This way you also don't have to deal with stacks of items. You can just have all of one item in one slot. Instead of stack sizes for different items, some items could take more space to store. Also, to unclutter things a bit, the inventory could be split into 5 categories: gear, consumables, blocks, resources, and ammo. There could also be more sections. I might have forgotten some things, but this already makes everything much more organized. The different categories could have different sizes depending on how much you'd store in them, such as making ammo a bit smaller. This would also allow for more player customization and progression, since backpacks could upgrade some areas of inventory more than others, like a ranger focused one which gives a lot of ammo storage. This would also make the death system more intuitive, since the player would know what classifies as a resource. For all you fake fans, the current death system is to lose half of your resources on death, which I think is a great system, although I don't like the durability hit on gear, but that's for another video. Some other things that would be nice for the player inventory is a search bar, auto sorting for each section, and category filters. By category filters, I mean buttons you can press at the top of each section that filters by certain types. For example, filtering gear by weapon, armor, or accessory. There could also be sub-filters like melee weapon or helmet. There is also already an auto sort feature in the game, but I don't think we've seen it in action, so I'm not really going to comment on it. You might now be wondering how chests would work with this system. Since there's different categories, this could be a great opportunity to add different containers for each different item type, or there could just be a universal storage type that can have anything in it. The player could also have some of this universal storage type with certain backpacks, and it would just allocate the storage to whichever section needs it. This would need some sort of conversion ratio between storage types, but that would be pretty easy to make. That's pretty much all my ideas for the slots replacement, and I want to address a few things before moving on to the next section. First of all, I do not expect the developers to ever add this, but I want my idea to be out there. I'm probably just going to use this system for my own games, or try modding it into Hytale if possible. Even if someone on the team by some miracle sees this video and likes the idea, there's no way this could be changed for day 1 early access. There's like 2 weeks left as of writing this. I do seriously think this would be a great system though, but it's definitely moving away from the typical system in the genre, which is just copying Minecraft. The second part of this video is less specific, but also more likely to be implemented. I wouldn't be too surprised if the team already has something like this planned, but hopefully I can provide some extra ideas the team might not have thought about. Finally, I'm going to try and get a Hytale creator code at some point, once I've uploaded a few more Hytale videos, so if you want to help me get accepted and see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. Anyway, this next section is going to be talking about a central storage system. In most similar games, this is just a collection of a bunch of chests. In mods for these games, it's often replaced with some magic system that puts everything in one inventory. For example, in Minecraft you have mods such as Tom's Simple Storage, Refined Storage, and my personal favorite, Applied Energistics 2, which I made a video about getting day 1 on a server if you're interested. In Terraria, you have Magic Storage, and maybe some other ones, but Magic Storage is the one most people use. Magic Storage has almost 6 million subscribers on Steam Workshop, which pretty much means almost 6 million people have downloaded the mod, putting it at number 5 in the most downloaded Terraria mods of all time. The demand for a system like this is so high because most people don't like sorting hundreds of items manually. Now these systems are great, but I personally think they're kinda boring. and I feel like the Hytale team might agree. In fact, I think a lot of developers agree, considering you almost never see a system like this in a vanilla game. Or maybe the developers just aren't bothered to add it, or think it will mess with the game's core loop or theme or something. But honestly, I don't even play modded Minecraft or especially Terraria without a mod like this anymore. I even use Magic Storage when I want to do a vanilla run of Terraria. It's not even vanilla at that point, but it just removes one of the most annoying and tedious parts of the game. So I think it should be a decently high priority for Hytale to add. Now, I would provide an in-depth idea on how to make a system that balances complexity with accessibility, but we don't have the game yet, so I'll just go through some general ideas plus a rough concept. First, I think we will probably need some sort of storage and crafting terminal like you see with most of these mods, because without it, the system still has tedium, and ideally this feature should reward the player for setting it up by providing a high level of convenience and cutting out the tedium of manual crafting almost entirely. Editing me here, I don't think I explained what I meant really well. Basically what I'm saying is I just want something like this where you can look at it and see all your items, because other systems I've seen which do similar things, like the one in Create Mod, you have to like request items and then they get sent over or something, and it just looks like annoying to use even when you've gone to all the effort of setting it up. Something like this is just really nice to have once you've set it up. To make it balanced, I think the system should start with less functionality and get more over time. So crafting from the system doesn't need to be in the first tier. I would make upgrading the tiers not require a full rebuild of the system, rather just replacing the terminal and adding more to the system and maybe replacing a few parts, but it doesn't really matter either way. For the first tier, I would just let you put items in the system and take them out, maybe with a speed limit or some other limitation that can be improved by later tiers. In my rough concept, I have a system where all your containers are connected with special item pipes, which take time for items to travel through, but can be upgraded later on. This also means a larger system would be slower, and the player can design a more efficient layout to get more storage with less delay. But yet again, whatever the developers want would work here, as long as it's more interesting than just slapping boxes together and chucking a terminal on them. For the second tier, I would unlock faster item pipes for faster item speed, or just some improvements to the system implemented, and add crafting support. Since there's so many crafting stations, I would make the player need to place the crafting stations in the system, then let the system use them from the terminal. This would also work well with my item pipe idea, since placing crafting stations in good places would allow for faster crafting, adding more optimizability to the system. This crafting shouldn't be too fast, since a separate auto crafting system should be implemented into the automation system instead, and that should be used for bulk auto crafting. This is more to make specific equipment pieces. In the third tier, the auto crafting could be updated to work like Factorio's crafting, where only the raw materials are needed. The system will automatically create the intermediary components for the final item. Another upgrade in the third or fourth tier could be another system stolen from Factorio. Borrowed, I mean. An auto resupply feature. In Factorio, you have these logistics robots which will automatically give you the items you request. But in Hytale, there could be a machine you connect to your system that you can use to automatically resupply certain items and deposit other items, depending on how you configured it. This could also automatically repair the player's equipment using materials in the storage system. This would cut out even more tedium, but you need to put in the work to get a higher tier inventory system, so it's still balanced. Other than that, being able to input and output items from the system would be nice, so it can interact with other automation systems. An example of what this would allow is for the player to step onto the auto restock station, have all of the ore taken away from their inventory, then the ore be automatically smelted and returned into the system. A short-term simple storage system like this could also be implemented quickly just to help with the issue, and later replaced with a new system, maybe once automation is properly implemented. To migrate to the new system, the old system could disable all ways to put items in it, only allowing items to be taken out. Alternatively, a full system could be made for tiers 1 and 2 of the system. I think being able to craft from it should be a priority, but later on it can be expanded to interact with automation mechanics more. That's pretty much all. I definitely think both of these systems would improve the game. If you have any ideas of how you think they could be improved, feel free to put it in the comment section. Replacing slots would be great, but I don't think it's gonna happen, and the central storage system might have too much progression for what the developers want for the game right now. Dealing with slots doesn't necessarily have to be the developer's issue, since slots mainly just cause problems with modded, but considering it's a pretty modded focused game, I think the developers should at least think about some alternatives. As for a central storage system, it really could be anything. I just hope a decently convenient one is added, and I'd like to see crafting and player restocking implemented. Anyway, that's all.